I was scared about starting over. I was scared about being alone. I was scared about falling flat in my face. I haven't done a sit down video like this in a few months, and I'm looking at my phone because I asked you guys on Instagram what are some things that you wanted to know about my move to Miami. And like I said, if you're new here, I moved to Miami in June of 2024, and so it is currently Monday, February 17th. So I've been in Miami for almost 7 months now. It'll be 7 months in a couple days. And while I've only been here for a little while, but I feel like I want to help those who are thinking of making major moves. And I moved here from Philadelphia. So it's a definite, like, really big change, and I wanted to know what you guys wanted to know about my move. So I'm gonna go through some questions that I got, and talk about what I've learned, and let's just do like a little quick Q&A. So like I said, I moved from Philadelphia in June. I've been here for about 7 months. The common question that I do get first is, how are you liking it in Miami? And I'll start with that. That's not a question that I got on my Instagram, but I'm gonna start with how I'm liking it in Miami. Short answer, I absolutely love it. I am here by myself, so I came here without friends, family, and that has been an adjustment, I would say, because it's not like I can call up someone, hang out with them. It's not like I can just say like, hey mom, let's go to lunch, hey dad, let's go to dinner, or my sister, or anything like that. But I will say it's different because I don't have any kids, so it's not like I need folks to just like be here for me in that way. I said I was hot, now I want a blanket. Let's get cozy, y'all. Like, we're friends here, right? Let's get cozy. But yeah, I don't have kids, so it's not something where I feel like I need like a babysitter or I need the support in that way. And I think that's a question that I get a lot, like, do you miss your family and your friends? Of course. Like, there's times where I'm just like, I would love to be around love right now. Like, because it does, I'm not gonna say it gets lonely, but it is like it's solitude for sure. But I don't get lonely. Like, I'm never like, I'm lonely, because I love my company so much, which I've mentioned so many times in like my previous videos. But I do miss my family and friends. But if I let that stop me, what can I talk? If I let that stop me from making a move that I think will better me in the long run, like, I would just be stuck in the same loop. Like, I say this all the time. The only thing that was changing while I was in Philly is the year. Everything about my life was staying the same, and that bothered me so much. And I just wanted to make a big change, and I'm happy I did it. So that was my long answer. Yes, I love it here, and I'm very happy here. So let's go through some of your questions. So let's start with how far in advance I planned my move. That question is a little tricky because I contemplated moving since about 2020, around that time. I said it in a previous video, but it was between Houston and Atlanta, and I honestly, girl, I hate Atlanta and I hate Houston. So I think I was just trying to go somewhere just to get out, just to spark some change in my life. And but once I decided like I'm doing this, I think I gave myself about 6 months. So in December, I came down here for Art Basel. I was like peeping the scenery, like scoping the scene out. And I was gonna come by myself, and my girl tagged along, and she came with me in December. I stayed for a weekend, and then I planned a trip in January to come in March. And then I just was like looking at apartments for a week. And by May, I signed my lease. I had my realtor look at some places for me. And so we were communicating pretty frequently. If there was a new building, he would call me up like, Micah, there's a new building. Like, do you want me to take a look? It's in our budget. And So I would say I officially started planning in January. I gave myself a month from my lease to my actual move-in to move in. I was sending boxes. Actually, no, that's a lie. I actually put boxes in my car. I got rid of everything besides like my clothes and just like personal items and everything in my apartment that I have right now. Like I got these things like while I was here. So I planned my move about, I would say, 6 months in advance. It says, how do you start applying for jobs? Okay, this question I get often, and you guys, I had a job before I moved. I have a job, and I think that you should not move here if you don't have a job. But if you, girl, if you feel like you have, like, there is something like calling you here, if you feel like there is something calling you here and you don't have a plan, like, I would say don't ignore that. But this was such a big move that I was making that I wanted to make sure, like, all my ducks in a row were in a row. Like, I wasn't gonna move here without a job and a place to stay and income to pay my rent and the way I like to live. Because, girl, I like to live. I don't want to come down here and like penny pinch, not be able to like really live my life. So I do have a job. I had a job prior to moving. I know there's like a lot of websites where you could find like remote jobs and just jobs in general down here. I know there's so many girls who do like bottle service and things like that. That's fast money. I don't not recommend it, but I know you probably want to have like health insurance and things like that. So I would say like have a job. Have a job. If you can, because you need to start saving money. So if you can plan more than 6 months in advance, I'd say do it too, because you want to have enough saved up. You want to have about 3 to 4 months of rent saved up, in addition to what you're going to pay to move in. Copy that? So you want to have money saved up, and you also want to have the money that you need to move. So separate from moving costs. So another question that I got was, what are some pros and cons about Miami, and what is a good area to live in? So if you watched my previous video on my apartment search, I'll start with that. I really, really enjoy the Wynwood area, the downtown area, and the Midtown area. So Midtown, Wynwood, downtown. I also wanted to live in an area where I could walk downstairs, go eat, I could walk downstairs, go work out, I could walk downstairs to just go for a walk or be near water, to go to the park. Those are things that were really important to me that like I wanted to manifest for myself. So those are like the areas that I prefer. I know a lot of people who love Brickell. My dad loves Brickell. The more and more he comes to my area, he loves this area specifically. But for now, he is a Brickell guy. I don't prefer Brickell, okay? I do not enjoy going to Brickell. Unless I know I want to eat or go to Brickell City Center, I don't prefer going to Brickell because I get this, I won't even get into that question, but the way that I'm treated in that area or the energy that's in that area, it doesn't give community, and it doesn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy. I'm far from home. I need community. I need people to make me feel like I'm at home, and Brickell does not give that, okay? Brickell don't give that. If you like Brickell, I would like to know why. Besides the food, the ambiance at certain restaurants, like, I don't like Brickell. So that's that. That answers that question. And the pros and cons, I always say for the pros and cons, for me personally, the biggest con is obviously being far from home, being away from my family and my friends. And I always say that I do have like a really great friend group. And so that's really a con, like having to start all over. But I love the community that I'm building here, like the friends that I've made so far. It's not many, child. I have like one good friend, literally one good friend. and she's a doll. Love her down. I met someone though that people thought was my friend, like my friend here is my Micah. If you saw that story on my TikTok, I was like going out. I went to the mall, and then I like called my dad. I'm so close to my dad, and I was like, "Should I go eat?" And he was like, "Yeah, like go to Brickell, go to that brunch spot." So I did go to Brickell, and I don't like Brickell, so I didn't want to stay down there. And I went to the brunch spot. It wasn't giving, like the atmosphere wasn't giving. There was nobody in there. So I was like, I'm gonna go to this other spot. Like, I think it was like football season, so I was watching the game, and this cute little guy comes in and he sits next to me, and then we become best friends. But he doesn't live here. When I found out that he did not live here, I was so sad. But like, we literally have FaceTime dates on Tuesdays, talk every Tuesday. He lives in Toronto, and he's a doll. He's literally like gonna be my friend for life. But like, that's a story that happens to me often, and by often I mean like pretty often, where I go somewhere I'm not supposed to be or I didn't plan to be at, and I meet someone that like comes into my life, and I'm like, okay, I was supposed to be out this day. So, like it literally just happened the other day. I went to get a matcha, and I ended up spending the day with two strangers going to get tacos and margaritas and like shopping in the design district. Like the randomest things, and they were dolls too. Like I love them. Like already. So I was answering the pros and cons and like went down a rabbit hole. So the cons are not having my friends and family here. That I would say that's my biggest con. And the pro, my favorite part about Miami is the weather. The weather does wonders for me mentally. Girl, I wake up and I want to conquer the world. Unless I was out until 6 a.m., then not so much. But like just being able to go for walks, just seeing the sunshine, like looking out my window and seeing the water, the sun. I can't describe it. It's like that's the biggest pro of them all. Like it makes me it just motivates me to do things. Like today, before I came home, I spent the day at the beach, like on a Monday. I spent my entire day at the beach by myself. Love doing stuff like that. So I would say that's the biggest pro. And just also, I'll say the opportunity here, like, it just makes me want to be a better person just because, like, the motivation that I'm around, like, the people who are doing great things, working, like, just trying to better themselves, like, going to workout classes. Another kind I would say is, like, the people who are, like, opportunists looking to get something out of you. Like, yeah, like there's people who won't take you serious or won't really talk to you unless they could get something from you, which that could happen anywhere, honestly, right? But I think the energy here, it could be a little bit more because like the things that you could accomplish here, like you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah, I think you get what I'm trying to say. Like the girl is gonna be weird. I've talked about that before. So yeah, I would say those are like the pros and cons. First, how and why did you choose Miami? How did I choose Miami? So, like I said, like I needed somewhere that had really nice weather. And I think honestly, what made me like consider it, like what about Miami? Um, I came here randomly, like on an impromptu trip with my girl, like in 2023-ish, I think. And it was like post COVID, but it was still a little strict. Was it post COVID? Yeah, it was definitely post COVID. Um, and we got an Airbnb. We came during the week, and we just like did worked on ourselves, worked out, ordered Uber Eats, and I was just kind of like, it's what, March? I was like, it's cold back home. Like, once I got home, I was like, this ain't it. Like, and it just made me feel like, could I live here? Like, because we stayed in an Airbnb, so I saw people living their actual lives, and I was like, I think I want that, and I need that. And then I think I saw, I just kept seeing little things like tweets and like social media, of course, was influencing me. Miami PR was working overtime because I struggle with seasonal depression. So like I remember seeing someone talking about how they moved to Miami and the things that it like had done for their mental health, and I was like, yeah, you need to consider that. You definitely need to consider that. So that's how I chose Miami. The weather was a really big factor. How did you actually do it? I've been wanting to, but I'm like, where do I start? So I am a God first, God, what do I do? Pray when I need answers type of girl, okay? And I don't believe in anything, like, I don't believe in doing anything without God. So first, I asked God, like, what is it that you would like me to do? How do I start? Is this something that I should do? My dad was also considering Miami at the time. So I'm like, if he's considering it, like I'll have someone. He's not here yet. But so I would say start by like writing out what you want out of the city and what you want out of a big move like this because it's not easy. Next, once you write it down, start manifesting it, praying about it. You'll start seeing signs. Like I feel like I kept seeing signs. Um, like I said, Miami PR was working overtime, and I just started praying about it, talking about it. So first I wrote it down. First you write it down. Second, you pray to God, talk to Him about it. Third, you start talking it, like speaking it out loud, what you're gonna do. Because once I started telling people that I wanted to do this, I was like, you gotta do it now. Like, what they gonna call you a fraud? Like, and say you just talk about things and don't do them. Like, I felt pressure myself to actually do it once I started talking about it. You'll get it. You'll get it. Once you start doing that a little bit more, you'll get like why that's important. Like, start talking about it out loud. And then it's the logistical steps. You need to plan more than one visit, and I strongly encourage you to plan a visit alone and see how you like it. Like spend time here as like a resident, like a future resident. Don't go out, stay in the house, order some groceries, get an Airbnb, spend some time alone, go for walks, see how you feel, and then come here again. So like make like 1 or 2 trips, maybe 3. Then on your 4th time, you don't have to do as many, but I just want you to be sure about this. Like, are you sure you want to move across the country by yourself and talk to a camera? Like, are you sure you want to do this? um, but no, like you need to plan some trips here before to like make sure it's something you really want to do. And then start saving. Saving should be first, honestly. After you talk to God, you need to save your money because it's expensive here. So after you plan the trips, plan the apartment hunting trips, you may need 1 or 2. I knew what I wanted out of my apartment and what, like, I just knew. So I didn't need another trip, and I knew I had a realtor. I'll put his information in my description. But yeah, I just knew what apartment I wanted. Even though I prayed on that for a couple of months. So you want to save, you want to pray, you want an apartment hunt, think about it for a second, make sure you explore all your options, and then have a date. I knew by my birthday in June, like, I wanted to be out of Philly. Like, that was my deadline. And I was, like, holding myself to it. And I talked about this before, but, like, I used to, like, push the deadline back so many times. And I think that just was, like, hurting me. Like, I just needed to do it. My only regret is that I didn't do it sooner. So, you need to start by saving, though. I think that'll be my main piece of advice. Start by saving and planning these trips here and saving. Add that into your budget too. The fact that you're gonna take trips, the flights and things like that. Book the flights ahead of time, and just like pay attention to how you feel when you're in Miami. Like I knew when I was here apartment searching, like I was like, I can really see this for myself. All right, how do I meet people? This is okay. I got, how do I make friends? Y'all want to know. Y'all want to know how I make friends. How do you make friends? How do you meet new people? Making friends. Let's be friends. Oh, let's be friends. Let's be friends, girl. How is it making friends in Miami. Okay. All right. Should I say that for last? Let's say that for last. Were you scared about starting over? Heck yeah, I was scared. I was scared about starting over. I was scared about being alone. I was scared about falling flat in my face. I was scared about getting here and like hating it. I could have got here and been like, I hate it. My dad was like, I'm so happy that you love it there, because he was so scared. Like, he wasn't scared, but he was just like, he just would have hated it if I got here and I did not like it. That would have haunted me mentally every day. Like, I would have devoted all my time to figuring out how to get out of here, how to get on my lease, girl. Like, which is not cheap, okay? Yeah, I was scared. I was definitely scared. That's why it took me so long to do this. Like, I was so scared. Um, but I think the only thing that gave me peace was like my friends and family and their support, and just like the communication that I still, and the relationships that I maintain with my family. Like, I think that's why I'm not lonely, because my support system is so damn good, and just like my spirit, and just my just the way I go about life. Like, yeah, I'm scared, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna jump off the cliff. Yeah. But you can't live life scared. Like, one comment that I get often is like, aren't you scared of hurricanes? Bro, aren't you scared to like get on an airplane? Like, what? Okay, that's not a good joke right now. But like, yeah, I'm scared to do all those things. Like, I'm scared, like, but I'm not gonna let anything stop me. Like, I can't live my life in fear. So, um, yeah, I was scared to start over. And then I think the biggest thing I was scared about is the fact that it couldn't work. Like, it could, like, I could fall flat on my face, and then I had to go back to Philly, and then they're like, what happened? Like, people love when you fall flat on your face. They love to see you back where you started. Like, that's why I say, when I started telling people when I was gonna move, and the fact that I was even moving, it's like, you gotta do it now. Like, and if I hated it, I mean, no, I'm being genuine, but if I hated it, I probably wouldn't even tell anyone. I would just work on my next move silently. Like, no, y'all can't see me fold. Y'all cannot see me fold. But no, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love Miami. I love it. Like, I really love it here. But yeah, I was definitely scared, but you can't just live in fear forever. And I would rather have been scared to do it than spend my whole life wondering what would have happened if I did. I'm thinking about doing this. Is it scary? So that answers that. And then, so how do I meet people? The girls want to know. Are you talking about like men, or just in general? I feel like they're talking about in general. Okay, we don't need the phone anymore. Ooh, girl, you're old. My back. So all right, let's let's talk about what would have been the only thing that could have stopped me from living a good life here. Like, let's talk about it. I did so much self-work on myself before I moved here that I don't even think I thought about, like, it wasn't even, in terms of being scared, it wasn't even about like, oh, I'm scared I'm not gonna make friends. Like, I'm the type, I could, my friend was like, you could talk to a fly on the wall. She was like, she was like, I was never worried about that for you, because I'm so comfortable with myself and the time that I spend with myself, that only thing that scares me about making friends here is like the lack of genuine people, and just like people with ill intent, opportunists, those who are looking to gain something from me, um, like just like those non-reciprocal relationships. But I did so much self-work before I moved to a city by myself that making friends was not my top priority. And that's just like, that's a question that I get very often. And I would say to start with, like, the inner work. Like, this sounds so cliche. I always say that, like, I hate saying this because it just sounds so cliche, but like, I had to start like with me first before I like got out in the field and started making friends. And just like before I moved here, period, because I knew I was gonna be good regardless if like I was good with myself. Um, so how do I meet people? I date myself, you guys. That's how I met Micah, even though he doesn't live here. Um, I met my friend Alex by going out by myself. I knew a guy who was out bowling, and I had went to an influencer event. I went to a Heat game, and after the influencer event, I was like, I'm gonna go outside. Like, you're cute. You don't go outside very often. So I like called one of the people I did know or meet here on the street, by the way. Like, I met him walking to go get sweet cream. Like, that's how I meet friends. You get outside. Um, but we connected on Instagram, me and him, and then like we just stayed connected. And I was like, I want to come outside. He was bowling, and I came outside by myself. Something that I started doing toward like the later days in Philly. And once I met him outside, like, this girl was so nice to me. Like, one green flag was like, she was like, we're about to go to the bathroom because she was with her friend group. And I was like, she was like, do you want to come? And I was like, oh, like, I love this. Because I'm obviously here, like, because of a guy, but like, you're involving me in the friend group. And that is actually like, I like that a lot. So like, I just paid attention to like little things that they did throughout the night, like making sure I got in my Uber okay. And like, oh, we're about to leave. Like, make sure you call your Uber soon, like stuff like that. Yeah, I met her by just like going out by myself, even though I did know someone. But like, in order to meet friends, you're gonna have to go outside. Like, I can't stay in this apartment every day and like hope I meet people unless I'm getting on a dating app, and I'm not doing that. So, or like a friend dating app, definitely not doing that. Hello. So, one, you go outside and you don't care whether it's with a friend or not. Um, you do things spontaneously, like, don't always live by the book. Some of my best moments here start by living like spontaneously. Like, oh, you want to go on a boat at 4 o'clock, and it's 3 p.m. Sure, like, let's do it. I just met you, like, but let's go on a. I just met you, like, I just met you, but let's go on a boat and like have a time. Yeah. Some of the things I do is it's risky. It's risky, but I'm fine, okay? But no, don't do everything I say, all right? Just do better than me, okay? Just do better than me. But you start by going outside, not being afraid to do things alone, date yourself, and you have to be open to new friendships, and you have to treat friends, like meeting new friends, like dating, like pay attention to the little things that they do. Like, you have to be willing to reciprocate what they do for you. You have to be willing to pour into them like they pour into you. Like, it's literally like dating. You're not gonna meet people and be best friends off the jump. And if you do, then it's not a red flag, but like, just pay attention to that too. Like, if people are just like oversharing or talking to you and talking about like other people they know, like just the basics, like treat it like dating, like treat them like how you want to be treated. And that's why I said like I date myself, because I can't meet friends, or my energy won't be vibration like high vibrational if I'm not pouring into myself. Because when people meet me, they're like, I love your energy. Like, you're not from here, or you haven't been here for a long time because Miami hasn't sucked the life out of you yet. And I think that I'm trying to pace myself and like move very intentional here so that doesn't happen. So I think I should do a separate video on how to make friends. And like, I could talk about this for days. So, but short answer is to date yourself first before you make friends. And if you don't have a man, you don't want to hear that. Because it's like, I don't even have a man, and that's the first thing I hear, to date yourself first. And then I don't have friends either. You want me to date myself? Yes. Date yourself. But I gotta go, y'all. This got long. I'm gonna do a separate video. Um, like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. But I hope this is helpful. And I will see y'all next time. I'm gonna go to bed.